And I remember, reading Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey talks about your circle of influence, and a lot of times we focus on the things that we don't have any influence over. And again, that can be frustrating. It can feel like we are victims. And so I want to share this with both sides of the aisle. I mean, there's many cases on both sides where we feel like that we're victims. We feel frustrated, and it's so much easier to focus on the things that we can't control and do the blame game. This is Better Wealth with Caleb Williams. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Better Wealth podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Joe Biden, my thoughts on Joe Biden, and a lot of people in the community has been emailing us, have been reaching out and asking me what are my thoughts. And I'll just share with you like the pep talk that I gave myself Saturday when the media announced that Joe Biden was going to be the next president and Kamala Harris was going to be the next vice president. And I want to share with you kind of what's going in my head, because regardless of who you voted for, this message is relevant. Regardless of who you voted for, this message is relevant. So I was in Dallas, Texas. I was presenting in front of almost 200 real estate investors that were in syndication. We were at Think Multifamily event. And we also were doing a lot of filming for this movie that we're coming out in 2021. And I'll be the first to say, ever since the election, I spent way too much time focusing on things that I had no control over. See, I think 2020, I think one of the themes could be like the news and negativity that a lot of times comes with the news can really be damaging to our mindset, can be damaging to our productivity. And I found myself, you guys, and just full transparency, that the couple days after the election, like very drawn into the news. And I kind of like, now that I'm talking to you guys right now, it's like I shifted a lot of my time and energy into a business, into a platform, into something that like we're literally helping change lives. We're helping inspiring people. Ultimately, we're helping people take back control. One of our messages is be intentional, take back control. And yet I'm doing the exact opposite and pushing all my time and energy and think of it as just like pushing it towards like a black hole that has like no bottom. And I had to, I mean, I'll tell you this without getting super political. I was frustrated. I'll put it that way. I was frustrated. And on Saturday, when I found out the news, I was going right into a film, and I took a walk, and I did a couple things. Number one, as a man of faith, I prayed for our country. I prayed for people on both sides of the aisle. I prayed especially for my heart, in that I would not treat people differently, that I would, that the outcome, regardless of what happens, would not change who I am as a person. But then the second thing that I did was I said, Caleb, I got to snap out of this. I am literally given a platform. I am born in the greatest country. I'm alive during the most amazing technology. I have the actual ability to show up in a world, help people. I can take control of so many things, and yet the things that I can't control, I'm putting all my focus on, and it's taking me away from, the to showing up powerfully in front of the camera, into my relationships, into even being in Dallas and making sure that we can maximize our time there. And I remember, reading Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey talks about your circle of influence, and a lot of times we focus on the things that we don't have any influence over. And again, that can be frustrating. It can feel like we are victims. And so I want to share this with both sides of the aisle. I mean, there's many cases on both sides where we feel like that we're victims. We feel frustrated, and it's so much easier to focus on the things that we can't control and do the blame game, or have the I can't believe that our country did X, Y, or Z. I can't believe so and so did this, or I am this way because of X. And I just want to encourage you by saying, suffocate the excuses, take a step back, and ask yourself this. This is something that my mom told me a while ago, and it's interesting how this gets recycled. What are the things that you can control in your life? You can control your relationships. You can control if you're a student, how you show up to school. You can control if you're in business, how you show up and the services that you provide. You can control if you're working in a company to be the best employee that you could be. There's so many things that we can control, from relationships to our health to how we view money to the opportunities that we have. And here's what I want to say, and this is one of the epiphanies that I had. It's not bad to get passionate. It's not bad to want to seek justice. It's not bad to be like track the news. I'm not saying that. What I do think it is bad is that constant compounding of energy on something that you can't do anything about. And so here was the epiphany that I had. It's like, okay, BetterWealth could be the platform that literally inspires the future president of the United States. It literally could be a platform that through success, through capitalism, we can serve so many people. We can help so many people. We could potentially be a part of future political changes. That's incredible. And I'm not saying that I'm going to run. I'm not saying that that we're going to impact the next president of the United States. I'm just saying my energy could be focused on something that could literally be in play, and then I can focus on things that I can control. So for me, I just had to go back and say, okay, I got to snap out of it. I got to focus on what we're doing, because that by focusing on that, that's actually going to make the biggest difference. By you showing up as parents, as you loving your spouse well, as you being the best student you can be, as you being the best entrepreneur you can be, by you maximizing your employment opportunities, you're actually driving the bottom line, and you're actually doing more change than the time and energy that's spent on social media or following the news. And so that's my thoughts. I think there's a lot going on. Voting is your civic duty. We need to stay informed. And by all means, I do stay informed. But I just had to, I very much, if you look at the time and energy that was spent, it was a lot more spent on things that were bringing me down. And as a result, affecting my future ability to impact and affecting how I was showing up today. I'll also just share this as a Packer fan. If the Packers win or lose, that should not affect my attitude. That shouldn't affect who I am. Like, if the Packers win the Super Bowl, I shouldn't be like, you could be excited, and I think that's important to care. But it's like, I'm not a better human being because the Packers won, versus I'm not a lesser human being if the Packers lost. I mean, for goodness sakes, I have amazing friends in Minnesota and in Detroit and Chicago, and they lose a lot. I know I'm going to potentially get more hate by that comment than the political comments. And so I just think it's very, very important to make sure that we don't put our identity in things that we don't control or we can't control. And I also think it's just really, really important to really think abundantly and just understand, like, where are the things that we can drive the bottom line, and let's go all in with that. So with that, live intentionally, have an amazing rest of your day. And as more news comes out, we will be keeping you up to date. If Joe Biden is the next president, we are going to be looking into his tax strategy or his tax plan, and look at anything else economically that will impact your wealth. We will be the first to share with you the pros and cons. And again, I want to be a platform that encourages, that inspires. And this message was really a lecture to me, and you guys were listening to some of the conversations I have inside my head. Take care. God bless. Thank you so much for listening to the BetterWealth podcast. It would mean the world to me if you could hit subscribe, leave a review, and share this with the people that you know and love.